Hi, this is my research presentation. So what was your topic and why did you choose it? The topic I chose was the lack of sleep in college-age students and young adults that are of the college age. The reason I chose the topic is because of how prevalent this issue is. Because, if you ask any college-age student and young adult of college age if they are getting the proper amount of sleep, or did they get enough sleep last night even, the answer is going to be a resounding no, they did not. Whether it be because they were staying up late to finish a project, they were pulling an all-nighter, or even or even that they're dealing with certain health issues such as insomnia or even depression. They're not getting enough sleep, and yet there's not a lot being done about this issue. So what did you learn from the research conducted? So from my research, I learned how detrimental the effects can be of improper sleep. If they're not dealt with early on, it can start as small as the inability to focus in class or just increased stress levels, but it can also become as life-threatening as obesity or heart disease, different issues like that. If you aren't getting the correct amount of sleep, then it can lead to an imbalance in your hormone levels, which can promote fat storage, which of course is unhealthy for anyone. And it's a domino effect, and it'll keep on going, which ultimately can become fatal if it's not taken care of at this moment. So one of the other things I learned was currently suicide is the second leading cause of death for college-age students in America right now. One of the effects regarding improper sleep is a decline in your mental health, which ultimately, if you let that get too far, you're not taking care of yourself, not taking care of your mental health, it can lead to things like that. Like, sadly, it can lead to suicide because of the increased feeling of helplessness and depression, and students constantly feeling anxious. So we produce a lot of our serotonin while we're sleeping and or exercising. And if you're not getting enough sleep, then you're not going to have the energy to exercise. So putting those two together, your serotonin levels, which is your happy chemical, are essentially going to plummet. And that's not good for anyone. What are some ways that your issue is being addressed? So currently, there's not a lot currently being done to combat this issue. They have done certain things such as implementing a later arrival time for schools, or there's some universities that have handed out pamphlets regarding like sleep tips and like kind of teaching the upcoming class about things that have been issues for the current students and ways that they can fix that. And one of those major things has been sleep. And so they've really been trying to combat the sleep issues by giving tips like, hey, go to sleep earlier, don't leave work to the last second to the point where you're having to sacrifice your sleep in order to get things done. And then what else needs to be done to address this issue? Other ways that they can combat that is including like reducing the coursework that can be given all at once, limiting the amount of classes that can be taken at one time, which a lot of universities are doing. But you also have to think that if students aren't going to be utilizing these resources, then it's not going to be effective. And this is very difficult to deal with among a generation that's romanticized the idea of pulling all-nighters, procrastination, minimal sleep, and electronics constantly being a distraction. So that's why I believe that lack of sleep in this part of the community is such an issue and something that needs to be resolved.